Today's tutorial is going to be all about drawing channels. So channels are really important drawing techniques because they help you visualize a trend, but more importantly, a support line, a resistance line, and sort of a midline between those 2 points. And channels are a good way to follow some sort of uptrend, downtrend, whatever it is you're looking for. And ultimately, what the channel can be used for is just to plan ahead better or to visualize the strategy that you have in mind or the trend that you want to play. So we just showed you a quick example of channels, and what we'll do in this video is walk through a number of different asset classes, showing you all the ways that you can draw channels either to your advantage or basically just to map out your ideas and follow markets. So let's get started with drawing channels. Now, if you watch our mouse here, you'll see that there's an arrow here that says Trendline Tools. If you click and open this menu, you will see all of the channel tools available to you. And some of these tools, like the Trendline tool, can actually also be used to draw channels in any way that you please. As an example, we can click the Trendline tool, and maybe we're looking to draw this downward channel here. So we could draw the trend line here. And the reason why we drew it in this space is because you can kind of see all of these different points in time where this trend line acted as some point of, price action couldn't fully break above it. And so we draw this trend line down like that. And then we go over here to Trendline Tools, and we click the Trendline tool again. Click our starting point, and we can sort of drag this line down to sort of, demonstrate a channel. So what we did is we used the trend line here, this trend line tool, to create the channel that you're looking at on this chart right now. And the reason why we made this channel is to sort of show, okay, price kind of went up to the top of this area, couldn't quite break above it, back down. It's just kind of ricocheted in this channel, and it ricocheted in this channel for quite some time. It looks like several months until it finally, just apparently, really out of nowhere, it just broke out and took off. And once it finally did break out of that channel, you can sort of see what happened here. It broke out, and whoa, was it off to the races. So channels can be used for a number of different reasons, as we mentioned. Just to map out such things as simple as this. You could be following markets for your own entertainment. It's a hobby. You're looking at unique areas on the chart. Maybe you're doing a back test. In this example, we are looking at a chart of USD JPY. And we went back in time and we just wanted to study price action a little more. What happened in 2020? We could probably do something similar here in 2019. Or we could try to plan ahead. And what we'll do now is go back to this SPY chart. This is an S&P 500 ETF. And we'll continue to show you some more channel drawing tools so you can really get a feel for it. Now, as we mentioned, you can use the Trendline tool to create that top region, that bottom region, and then where price was in between. But if you move your mouse down, you'll also see that there is something called Parallel Channel. So you can click Parallel Channel. And once you have the tool selected, all you really need to do is find your starting point. So where do you want the channel to begin? And in this example, we actually want the channel to begin from these lows here. This looks like a really significant low because the market on this chart has shown that ever since this low, it's been up and to the right. It's formed some sort of channel, clearly. There's a trend below that's been supporting a buy opportunity. And there's a trend above that's been sort of the restriction. Price isn't just going parabolic. There is there's some sort of rhyme and reason here. So we click the starting point, and now as you can see, we have the tool selected. And what we're going to do is drag it to the ending point. So where we think this should sort of sit and begin, and we click. Now that we've clicked, as you can see, we've created this channel. So we can now draw it as we need according to what we're seeing or trying to measure. Now in this example, this is going to be either our top line or our lower line. And for now, we're going to use it as the lower line. So we're going to drag the top line up above, and we're going to place it about right here. So what you're going to notice at first glance here is we have this line underneath, which is the support line, this line above, which would be resistance of the channel, and then the midline. So that's this middle line, dotted line. And you can control this on the chart, including the colors, the line thickness, just by going to the settings. You could extend the line left or extend it right. It's up to you. We'll dive into that in a second. But first, we just want to talk about these channels and why they're important. Now, this channel looks like it played out very interesting. Actually, you can see that once this drop started to happen, it's kind of just continued straight down right through the channel. However, this channel doesn't really fit as perfectly as we'd like. So as we're doing our research and just making a mental note, what we're noticing is that this crash actually probably isn't the right point to start the channel. Why is it not the right point? It's because this was such a volatile, high volume day. It's almost as if this was more of the ignition, the trend lighting, not so much the trend itself. The trend wasn't established until there were days like this. So we're actually going to revise our channel by clicking this and dragging it here to this day. So it's the day after, or in this case, we're looking at a weekly chart. So it'd be the week after this big green candle. And now we can drop this down to these high points. And now what we have here is this channel. And so why would we draw this channel? What is it telling us? A channel like this can be used for a number of things. Now, in this example, we're showing you how to use the tools. We're not doing buy or sell recommendations. Our goal is to show you how to use it. So what this channel could be used for now is just more information about what you're thinking for the future and how you want to plan ahead. We now know this channel is broken, as indicated by this recent move. So what does that mean going forward? Well, there's a number of things it could mean, and you can do all of these studies yourself. For one, you could extend this channel line to the right. And now this channel line is going to extend all the way across the chart. And it'll go into the future, as you can see, 2023. Now, the reason why this might be an interesting way to draw the channel and plan ahead is if this is something that you see or think or are sort of, looking to not so much trade on, but just, to begin to develop a plan on. You could say that, well, if price returns back to the bottom end of this channel, you could potentially say, well, I think that's going to be that previous support. So it was previously support, price hit, bounced, is now going to actually become resistance. So if you were looking to buy a dip and you were trying to get a sense of this long-term trend, you could make this your target, arguably. It's totally up to you. But we're just showing you the thought process by which you could plan using these channels. Another way to think about this channel too is maybe you think this channel is the channel that matters most, and you could not go near price until it gets back in here. And once it's back in the channel, then you will play the trade based off of this channel. And that's another way to think about it. So what you're really doing is not so much, saying that, okay, well, we drew this channel, so now the trade's over. Actually, the opposite. You're drawing this channel and saying, what next? How do I want to take advantage of this price action? How should I plan ahead? And by drawing this channel, you can mark out some levels that are significant to you. Now, there are definitely more ways to use channels. This is just one example, and we're just walking you through some thought processes as well as the tools. That's probably the most important part about these educational videos. We really are just trying to show the tools at hand that are available to you as a member. So we'll double-click this, and we can change everything about this channel. So we can change its colors. You can see the lines change just by doing this. So if you are someone who likes to make a chart that's very specific to you with specific colors, well, this is key to making the perfect layout of your choice. You could change the style of the line as needed. We'll go back to a straight line. The middle line, as we mentioned, that's going to be the exact middle between these 2 points, the bottom of your channel and the top of your channel. and you can change that color as well as needed. You can also change the style of that line. Now, this is up to you. Some people actually prefer to have a straight line. You can't miss it. But then what you do is you make the thickness smaller than the bottom of the channel and the top of the channel, so it more so is a reminder of the middle line, not the key support and resistance of the channel. But it's up to you. You could make this line equally as thick. What's really important to all of the tools on TradingView is that they are fully customizable to your exact needs. You can make them look and feel exactly how you want to fit your style. There is no such thing as one size fits all in markets. It's important that you develop your exact needs to make markets work for you. Now you can extend the line all the way down through the left or all the way up through the right. We showed you why extending it to the right is important, because you can start to see it out into the future, and you can even just sort of gauge and say to yourself, does this even look realistic? Is this something that you think will happen? And just thinking ahead like that will improve the way you approach markets, because a lot of people will just dive in and just start buying, selling, buying, selling, buying, selling, without any sort of visual process toward what could happen in the future or what looks realistic in the future. Does this channel even look realistic? Could you see price getting back into this channel, and how long would it take? Could it be 2023 all the way up here? Does that seem realistic to you? You could take the price range tool, click here, measure it. That would be an 83% move over the next year or so, or 2 years. These are really key questions for you to ask. And by doing that, you can just make better decisions. If this doesn't look realistic, well, that's perfect. You've now done the research you needed to show that this channel is invalidated. It means nothing to your research. You'd rather approach markets from a different, safer perspective. That might mean you think price is going to say, actually, continue lower for a little bit rather than bounce back into this channel. So let's just get back to this really quick, and let's actually keep this log scale. And what we want to talk about is, why would you extend a channel all the way to the left? The reason why you would extend a channel all the way to the left is because what you're doing by extending the channel all the way to the left, so remember, this is our starting point. By the way, let's go to a daily chart to see how the channel lines up on a daily chart. Now you can draw this a little more perfectly with this, knowing this daily chart. There we go. And why would you extend this to the left? There's a number of reasons why you would extend a channel to the left. We showed you why you extend it to the right. Now let's talk about extending it to the left. Double click and go extend to the left. What you're doing now is you're sending this channel back in time to instantly see if there's been any other points where it's mattered. So you can now see this channel go across price back in time throughout history. And as you can see, this channel's never ever come into play before. However, let's say you were looking at price on a smaller time frame and you wanted to draw this channel. So if you were to go to, say, 30 minutes, and let's just say, because remember, this is just an example video. We're just trying to show different ways you can use the channel. Let's just say you had drawn a channel maybe from somewhere. Let's just say this was, we were back in time here, and you were drawing a channel from this point up to here and sort of watching this area. And let's take off the line extensions. So what you were doing is you drew this channel. You were trying to trade this chart on a smaller time frame. You were sort of looking at this trend line at the bottom as sort of the buy the dip line. It would come back and retest. And then this was sort of the top of the range here. So let's actually even shrink this, because it looks like it was hitting this. See right here, hit. Could never break above this top line of the channel until here. It did break above that. Funny how it just dropped right through, came right off this line, as in these moments here as well. So let's say you drew this channel because this was your observation. You were trying to follow markets on a smaller time frame. You maybe were planning a trade or a long-term investment, trying to find a trend. Well, what you could do is you could double click and extend the line to the left back in time. Then you could go to a higher time frame, go to the chart today. So we need to get to the chart today and now see that channel go way back in time. And before we were only charting on a 30-minute time frame that really only counted this area here. But now we've gone to a daily chart, extended that same channel back all the way through the left, and can see if it mattered or was significant on a different time frame, one day. This is all up to you to see if this is actually something you want to use in your process or strategy. But that's all it takes, is you can draw these channels on any time frame, extend them to the left or right, go up to a higher time frame, and then see if they've been, a moment in history. Was there another point in time where this channel mattered? Let's delete this channel and let's keep going. We can do this with so many different assets. We can even go to Netflix, for example, and let's really zoom out here with Netflix. Let's see what's a time in history when Netflix was in a channel. You can actually just kind of see here it was in a very interesting channel. And let's talk about some more channel tools. And we showed you how to draw the channels with trend lines, parallel channels, but regression trends are just as important. And statistically, regression trends are probably going to be one of the best ways you can draw channels. And you can combine this with all of your other channel information. So as we were saying, let's find a very interesting channel we can draw as an example for you. So we see this uptrend here. So let's take our channel tool and parallel channel, and let's find our starting point here. Let's draw this trend line through, extend it up here to the top of the channel that we see, and click. Let's double click. Let's turn off not to extend it. Let's even make the background a little more colorful so we just really can't miss it. Let's do another color too that really pops for us. Let's see here. That's pretty cool on this color scheme. So we drew this channel, and let's just say this is a channel we're studying. Maybe we think this channel is going to repeat in the future, so we're actually just doing a study back in 2011. Because that's another key aspect of this video that is important, is you can go back in time and study past price history. Not everything has to be at price today or at price in the future. You can go back in time and find how were people trading, investing, buying and selling this stock as far back as 2010. Let's go do some measurements. Let's study price. We can throw up a channel in this instance. But what's really cool is when you draw this channel, you can now go to Regression Trend and actually get some hard stats about this channel. Check this out. We click Regression Trend. We click the start of the channel. We go to the point where we finish the channel, actually, which is right here. And then we click. And now we have this regression trend. So we had log scale on, so it kind of made it look a little difficult. But let's open up this regression trend. And let's make sure that it is easier to see. Actually, the colors that we had are making this regression trend kind of difficult, but don't worry. With our color scheme, we can make anything possible to see, not a problem. So let's see this here. And let's make sure now with this channel, what we're going to do with this channel is double click. Oops. We are going to actually, for now, take this channel and hide this channel. So now we just have the regression trend on our chart. So let's open this regression trend back up and make sure that this is, a little easier to visualize for you. So this regression trend is another channel tool. The difference is that this regression trend can be used to actually get more of statistical. You can get more statistical feedback with the regression trend. It's not just a drawing tool. It's actually also going to show you some stats like Pearson's R. You can also extend the lines. Let's not extend them for now. You're also getting deviation, so upper deviation, lower deviation, and you can choose to use either the upper deviation or lower deviation. So if you're familiar with statistics, this is really a dream tool because now you can draw and fact check your channels with actual math behind it and hard science, and you can get your regression trend right here. See this number? This is the regression trend. So the regression trend is taking all price information from your starting point to this point, getting you your Pearson's R, and actually showing you some standard deviation bands as well. So now you can combine, this is super unique in the sense you can combine your drawing of a parallel channel with a regression trend, and you can compare and contrast the two. So that is really important, and we're just hiding the regression trend for now. So what we're going to do is click our channel tool again, and now we can take the starting point, the ending point. Oh, sorry, that was the regression trend. Let's undo that. Let's go to our parallel channel, get our starting point and our ending point, and remember this is the, let's change this. So now we can see that actually what's interesting with these standard deviations in mind is that the channel we drew is, you can even see the midline. This is also really fascinating. This is the midline of the channel you're drawing, these dotted black lines, and the white line here in the middle is your baseline, and that's using this regression trend tool, so you can start to match up how you can match the two lines up if you choose. And what's so cool about this is, so we drew this regression trend from this starting point to this ending point, and you can actually see how beautifully they actually are matching, which goes to show that you can draw really beautiful channels and then compare them to a regression trend as we were just showing. Let's open up our object tree really quick because we hid this parallel channel. So let's unhide this. Oh no, okay. This is actually, so this is the parallel channel that we drew, and now watch us show the regression trend. And there's the regression trend laid over it, and you're getting these two sets of information. You can go to your chart and now compare and contrast the two. Hide, unhide, hide, unhide, hide. You get the idea. You're now comparing a regression trend to your parallel channel. So that is another unique way to use the channel tools available to you, where you can combine the actual drawing of a channel with some statistical facts and a statistical approach with the regression trend. You can compare and contrast, or if you'd rather just use the regression trend, go ahead and just use the regression trend. There's no reason to define yourself by one tool or to use or feel the need to use every tool. Find the tool that works best for you and just start measuring to hopefully make better decisions, just to understand price action and how fast something's moving. This is obviously going to create quite the regression trend because we're taking in so much data and because we're using this lower deviation, which, of course, if we wanted to hide, it would just make it a little crisper. And there's our regression trend from these 2 points in time. So these are the channel tools available to you. Some of the best ways to get started with channel tools are just to dive in and start having fun with them. So open up your TradingView chart, go to Trendline Tools, and take advantage of it. We showed you how to draw channels with trend lines, the parallel channel, the regression trend, and there are some other channel tools, for example, flat top and bottom. This might be more for a technical trader who's trading classical patterns, whether it's wedges and triangles or anything of the sort. But we will really quickly wrap up the video showing you flat top and bottom and how you can use this tool to not so much draw channels, but draw something that's at least close enough to a channel. But remember, I'll make another video about this down the road, and this video will be more about, or the future video will be more about trading classical technical patterns. So the flat top bottom channel is just as it looks. You're going to create a channel or a drawing that has a flat top or bottom and then a trend on the other side, so top or bottom. Take a look. This is going to be the flat bottom. We're going to click, and then because our slope is flat, we can now just basically draw a flat, a flat drawing based on these 2 points. Click, drawing's done. And let's change the colors so that they're easier to see. And this demonstration will make so much more sense as we show you this tool in a little more detail. So you can click those 2 points. Now let's go back to the flat top bottom. Let's say instead then that you drew a trend using this tool. And this was the trend you drew. Well, so now what you've done is you have a trend line with a flat top. So you can kind of see how it can be used, or a flat bottom. And you can see how you can use this to make triangles or sort of wedge-like patterns. Click. So now what we have is this trend up and to the right with just a flat top or some resistance point. And we can do this across all asset classes. This is for technical traders, people who like to draw on their chart to try to plan some sort of maybe support or resistance trading idea, or to follow a trend that they think has a top to it almost. So as a great example is, you could sort of say, let's take this flat top bottom. You could say we're in a downtrend and we're going to short this until we think the bottom is met here. Or let's actually look at this. How interesting is that? So now what we're doing is we are sort of drawing not so much a channel, but this flat top bottom pattern to essentially say, in this, what we see on this chart, what we're planning for based on our research or based on what we're reading or thinking, or maybe we're just paper trading and trying to put our plan visually on a chart with our drawing tools, that we think, price is going to keep getting rejected until it hits this area here, which would explain why it's flat. And why did we draw this line? We'll check this out. We'll double click. We will extend the line to the left. And once we've done that, this might make a little more sense. Check it out. Turns out it hit here, almost hit here. There's a huge wick here. There's a bounce here. There's a bounce here. So what we've done now is created this mega channel. And then what's so cool about this is you can zoom out in time and see if this line has played any important role before. And it has. Look at all of these levels here. Super interesting. So interesting. And then let's go back to where we are now. And you can just, take in so much information going back to 2020 here, all the times that this has played out in the context of the current drawdown. And then the rest is up to you. How do you want to play this? This is sort of your guide going forward. This is how you're going to approach this particular market with the trend that you see and the trade or investment that you want to plan. So we hope that this helps you get started. These tools, as we mentioned, are all here in your Trendline Tools menu. You can customize all of the settings, use them to draw channels, super unique channels to you, and to customize them on any chart of your choice. So thanks for watching. We hope this video helps.